When it comes to learning something, ultimately, you're the only one who can teach yourself. Now, you can have instructors, teachers guide you, but they can't force you to absorb the information. You have to actively seek it out. You have to be thirsty for the knowledge. And it's like the old saying, you can take a horse to water, you can lead it to the water, but you can't make it drink. There's this idea I think some people have that they're buying a service when they take martial arts lessons or other types of lessons, and that it's the responsibility of the instructors to make sure that they're learning. No, there's nothing I can do to force someone to learn. They have to want it. They have to seek it. And again, I can give them guidance, but ultimately they have to be the ones who want to make the change in themselves. You can see this in the difference between two types of students. One, you can give instruction here and there, leave on their own, because you need time to have repetition, to practice something. There's no shortcut to getting good. You have to do the reps. And you can leave that person alone, and all on their own without an instructor standing over their shoulder the whole time. They can do rep after rep after rep. And then after class is done, they might go home and do more reps. Or they might do reps here after class. That's how it's done, folks. That's how you get good at things. You do reps. And again, there's nothing that can substitute that. If an instructor gives you time to do forms in class, and you use all of that time to do forms, it's still not enough time to get good at your forms. You have to do more reps outside of your class time, if you're doing 2 classes a week at least. So when I see people who I give them help, I give them things here and there, or they take the lessons from the class itself, and then they start drilling it, and they make it their own as much as they can, that fills me with a sense of joy. That's a pleasurable experience as an instructor, to see people thirsty for the knowledge. Just as an example, when you talk about movement like in a form, it's a shape that you're trying to create a shape, but the shape is an expression of a broader idea. So if you're making a stance, the stance is getting at a principle, a way to shift body weight, a feeling, and it gives you this frame, this architecture to start you with, to help you understand that feeling that the stance embodies. And at first, that requires a lot of thought, like how exactly do I move my foot? How do I shift my body weight? Then it starts to become more intuitive. Once it starts to become more intuitive, you can really put your spirit behind it then. So when you do a front stance, for example, at first you're thinking about, okay, I got to lock my back knee. I got to make sure I'm about 3.5 foot lengths. Got to bend my front knee. You're really engaged in the thought process of how to move your body that way. Once you get it, you don't have to think about all those steps, but then you should engage the spirit. Just have this sensation of penetrating forward, of feeling your center engaged in that stance. Now, doing that's going to make you significantly stronger. I mean, I'll tell you, doing forms rigorously is just as hard to me as sparring. It is intense exercise. Now, there's another type of student, when you leave on their own for even a second, they have no intention of dwelling on the material. It's as though they need someone to stand there and whip them to do any kind of work. And I'm afraid there's just nothing that you can accomplish with that attitude. You have to put forth the effort behind the movement to get something out of it. So even if you're doing the movement, if you're doing it without purpose, empty of feeling, empty of muscle activation, you lose the benefits. So if you have an opportunity to practice technique on your own, be it a partner drill, be it a form, anything where an instructor is not standing there at all times, which is going to be most of the material that we cover, Challenge yourself to engage fully in that material. Don't talk to your partner. Work on your eye control. Work on your posture. Work on the feeling behind the technique. If you're doing forms, you can break down even a single motion. One student was just having a hard time with a double knife hand technique, and I spent probably 30 minutes with them just on that technique. There's so much you can dig into in a movement. How efficient are you moving? How much are you drawing from your center, building the torque in your legs and then firing that movement out? How much are you tightening unnecessarily? That stuff requires years and years of study to build skill with. So if you have that time in class, don't waste it. Use it to embrace the art. Be hungry. Seek it out. Be responsible for your own development. Don't put that responsibility on someone else. It's up to you to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And you know what? That will not just benefit you, that will benefit everyone around you, because they will see the improvements you will make. They will feel that intensity and the energy you bring to the class, and they will push themselves to be better as well. And then the whole group will feed off of each other. The saying there is that iron sharpens iron. Don't be the weak link in the chain. Put forth your best effort when you train. It's all over the 14 important training guidelines. Do your best when training. Sincerity is necessary. Effort is necessary. It is necessary to train in the basic spirit of Taekwondo. Multiple ways of saying the same thing because it is so critical to your success in the martial arts.